Well, I spoke to the mother of 18-year-old Holden White earlier. Jim, travelers I spoke with today, you can tell that all the straps were actually in place at the time. And if we start to come over here, you can see that the house is actually flipped completely upside down. So part of Jennings is without power right now. These lights have actually been on the whole time we've been standing here up until now, right after we heard that transformer blow behind us. You can see behind me a roof blew off today. I actually just spoke with the tenant who told me they were standing outside on their back porch. Debris is piled up over my head and it continues on down the road. 2 of the 4 recreation centers that are being shut down are most commonly used for their indoor basketball courts. That includes the Domain Center and the Hyman Center. The Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry says they have received more than 300 phone calls since Friday from people saying they have received a small package in the mail of mysterious seeds that they did not order. Hunters hope for a light rain before they go into the woods, as dry weather can cause a dry ground, which can be too noisy. The Brown family returned to their Lake Charles home on Sunday after evacuating from Hurricane Laura. They're currently living off of a generator, and they thought they were doing everything correctly until they heard this sound.
I was having a hard time staying awake. I had a massive headache. I was very lethargic, very fatigued.
Chris Brown says he and his children were about to go to sleep Sunday night when their carbon monoxide alarm went off.
And we thought maybe a faulty alarm. We pulled the other one right where it was and it started going off too. We're like, okay, out of the house.
The Browns set up the generator away from their house, about 5 feet away from the garage.
But the exhaust was pointed towards the wall, and so it was climbing the wall, it was forcing it up the wall in the attic vent, which was then putting it in the crawl space, and it was coming down through the ceiling where the ceiling had fallen because of the water damage.
This family is thankful for that beep.
That without it, you know, we wouldn't have woken up this morning, and that's awful to say, but we really think that the monitor was responsible for saving all the kids and us too.
And we got 6 kids over there watching us, so.
While crews continue to work every day, the Browns aren't expected to have power for the next several weeks. In Lake Charles, Katie Easter, KTC TV3.
June, I could not ask for better care. Very nice people. They're great at their job.
Rayette Gaspard says her son Holden White is still in the hospital, but is now off the ventilator and feeding tubes. She says he is also talking.
From the strangulation, it's very weak. His voice is very weak, but he's getting stronger each day, which is a blessing.
Gaspard says when her son gained consciousness, he wasn't sure what happened.
He kind of remembers bits and pieces. I was hoping he wouldn't remember any of it.
The long-term effects of White's injuries are unknown.
He's upset with his hands and his, you know, they unbandaged his arms, and he said, Mom, he said, I can't use my arms and I won't be able to for a very long time. And I said, it's going to be okay through physical therapy, have good doctors, and you should be okay.
The suspect in the case, 19-year-old Chance Seneca, is charged with attempted second-degree murder. The family is worried he'll be able to post bond.
My fear is that he goes back to finish what he started with my son. That's my fear.
The family is hoping the FBI joining the case will lead to hate crime charges.
So it's scary because he's fantasized about this for a long time, to my understanding, and he just followed through. Due to my son's small stature, he was targeted because he knew he could overpower him.
In Lafayette, Katie Easter, KTC TV3. Mac Tannerly grew up knowing he wanted to help people.
I've got a couple of family members that were linemen prior to me arriving, and I always kind of looked at myself being like them. So I always kind of thought it'd be a really good thing to do.
Tannerly, one of hundreds of workers who came from out of state to help get the power back on in southwest Louisiana.
I mean, you're seeing people with nothing left and don't know when they're going to have anything, don't know where they went.
Tannerly and his colleagues like Justin Sutherland are from Clemson, South Carolina.
We've seen power, where power lines would be for miles. There's nothing. There's not a pole standing. I mean, you see where a house used to stand, and there's nothing but a floor left.
Although these linemen are hundreds of miles away from their families, they say they have no regrets.
It can be rough at times, you know. You miss them, you want to be home, but you just got to remember you're down here for a good reason.
I mean, you're going to help people that have lost everything. And it's nice to know that you kind of helped, you know, in a sense, and give them peace of mind that they might be having something to come back to.
What you saw in that video with him walking away was a scared man. He was scared for his life. And it didn't really matter because it was taken anyway.
That's Trayford Pellerin's cousin addressing the council shortly after Mayor President Josh Guillory walked over and had a brief conversation.
Now, if you expect nice kumbayas to continue to come from us, it's never going to happen again. So
the public comments were heated. And outside in the summer heat, protesters barbecued.
Did y'all eat y'all some barbecue with some seasoning? And ain't none of y'all called the police.
The barbecue after a protester was arrested over the weekend for barbecuing outside the mayor president's home.
We decided that since doing it in front of the mayor president's house was illegal to the point of being put into LPCC, that we would go ahead and take to our public property and have a barbecue here.
Guillory's taking much of the heat for the city's handling of Trayford Pellerin's shooting by Lafayette police.
Resignation. I would like for Josh Guillory to resign today.
But these protesters ultimately want the demonstrations to be about Trayford Pellerin.
Say his name! Trayford Pellerin!
They want someone to be held accountable.
You have enough probable cause, and if you were a respectful man, you don't have to release the body cam to us.
Esperanza Salazar is back serving customers at the Quarter Tavern for the first time in 6 months.
Extreme struggle for me as I'm a single mom. I have a young daughter of 1 year old, so it's been extremely hard. With unemployment, now we're down to $200 a week. It's hard to survive off of that.
Since July, her boss, Ty Baldwin, has been fighting to be able to reopen. That fight included a failed lawsuit against the governor.
It made me proud that we have people as far as our bosses that are willing to fight for not just for themselves, but for their workers, for their employees.
Baldwin says when he found out they could reopen Wednesday, the doors were open within minutes, but it isn't quite business as usual. For now, nobody will be allowed to sit at the bar, but these bartenders say they're just happy to be back.
We have to go outside and wait on them, which is not a problem. We're glad to be open.
I mean, with all the time that I've been home from work, I'm just happy to be back.
Only hours after reopening, they were given clearance by the ATC and the State Fire Marshal to start hosting live bands. In New Iberia, Katie Easter, KTC TV3.